going to be 5 keys.
Hang on. Okay. Hello, everybody. Hello, Sherman College student Facebook page. It is good to be with you today. I am here with Drs Staci and Nate Blume, and they were just telling me about the free stuff they're getting ready to give till I cut them off and did the countdown. So this is going to be a pretty cool talk. So I love gifts, and you should too. And here are 2 of the best gift givers around. So Drs Nate and Staci, welcome to the Sherman College student page. How's it going?
Fantastic. Thanks for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. And you've got lots of things that you could talk to the students about. First of all, I've been told there's no such thing as a good associate or associateship. All they're going to do is fleece you for their money. You're going to put money in their pockets, and you're going to be miserable after 2 years. So why in the world would you even think about doing something like that?
Oh, because that's not true. So I had my first practice back in North Dakota, and I have associates who are still working in that practice now. They worked for me for over 7 years, and they're still there, and they're still loving their job. And so I think the biggest thing for students when you hear that, they've obviously found a poor doctor to be paired with. They've found someone who doesn't have everyone's best interest in mind. And whether it comes to patient care or associates or employees or CAs or whoever it might be, our rule is always create a win-win. If you can create a scenario in which if I were an associate, I would love to take that position, and we know that it's beneficial for the practice and for the patients as well, then you can't go wrong. And people can last a long time in an associateship. And in fact, I think for a lot of doctors, there are some people who really want to take on that entrepreneurial piece and want to run a business one day, but it's perfectly fine if you don't as well. And I think that's something that students don't hear. Like, you don't have to want to run your own business. You could love to take care of patients and want to leave that business stuff to somebody else and find a perfect working scenario where somebody is there to support you in exactly those goals too.
And I think that a lot of times the associates that I've heard that feel like, yeah, the doc had me there, to work me to death and give me nothing. It's really the doc wasn't bringing them in to help grow and build more. He was bringing them in so they could take over some of his work or her work. And, it's either that or the doc thinks that having new blood in the practice is going to help build because he can't do it himself or herself. So certainly not the case with us. We opened this office just over 3 years ago and are already, 100% cash practice, already over 7 figures. And we are at the point where, the 2 of us are busy, and we are looking for somebody to come and join us and help us grow.
Well, that sounds excellent. Do you want to say a little bit about your practice, what type of a practice it is, what they might expect to see, how the Blumes and them might be a good fit?
Absolutely. So a little bit about us. I graduated Palmer College 2002, started my own practice thinking, hey, I had a Palmer education. That should be all it takes, right? And struggled hard for the first 3 to 4 years. And my brother joined my practice, and we worked hard together over the next couple of years and really grew that to something that was substantial. So when Dr. Staci and I joined together to open this office, it was with the goal of having the ability to help train new students so I could teach those new students, even if they think they know it all like I did, tell them things that they don't know yet, and help them be successful, whether it is to go on to be their own entrepreneur and business owner, or to figure out what a great associate does. The systems that we've put in place and the team we've got around us is absolutely what sets us apart from so many other offices.
Yeah, fantastic.
So I heard you say the word. Go ahead, Staci.
Oh, I was going to say, so our practice right now, like he mentioned, is an all cash practice. It's how we started and how we'll stay. really focusing on the philosophy of chiropractic first, a holistic approach. So when people are coming in, we're talking to them about how they think, the quality of questions we ask before they get adjusted, put their mindset in the right place to receive a great adjustment. And so we've always said we need to stick with that principle. We need to make sure that that's the foundation of everything we do and the lens with which we make decisions by business decisions, healthcare decisions, whatever it might be. So focusing a lot on a lot of family care, we see primarily the adults first. So we're not a pediatric focused office. We love to see kids, but that's not our primary. Our primary is really business professionals. We see a lot of medical professionals, a lot of people who own their own businesses or are running multiple businesses themselves. So it's high-level CEOs that then send their spouse in, that then bring their kids in, and are coming in on a regular basis. I think something that's really unique, and it wasn't taught to me in school. I went to Northwestern, and we had a very different style of education there. But what wasn't taught to me in school is how do you create care plans that are not just centered around pain. So we do heart rate variability testing, neurological assessments. We do x-rays on every adult patient, unless it's somebody pregnant when they first come in, because we want to have those definite objective measures. And so using those things really, really helps people from the very beginning when they come in for care, understand that this is something they're going to do indefinitely. And to have people who come in, and there's not a 3-month care plan, there's not a 12-month care plan, it's a forever care plan for everyone. And the number of people who get started with those is a really high percentage because of the quality of education that we utilize, even just in how questions are asked in their new patient evaluation to how their results are delivered in our group information session and individual report. And so it's a fun practice because we see people for a long time. We've been open 3 years and we've had multiple people who've been with us those entire 3 years.
Well, I got to be honest. If I didn't just get a new job, I think I'd apply. And so I think
we take it.
If that doesn't work out, you let us know.
I went. Yeah, I will. And I went to Sherman if that's okay. But
it's preferred at this point.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned an interesting thing where you're dealing with the CEOs, and then through them you're getting families and kids. And we actually do teach ideal client, target market, book yourself solid concepts to the students. Yep. And oftentimes when they think about marketing, they think it's everybody with a spine. And we hear that a lot. What they don't think about is when you have that targeted market or ideal client, we're not saying to only see those people.
Certainly.
Right. But they're the gateway to this practice of your dreams where you can start to see 7 figures.
Oh, yeah.
I can't tell you how much easier this practice is, having studied, book yourself solid, ideal client, and those things prior to opening this practice than it was with my first practice. And that's kind of goes without saying. And certainly times have changed in how you reach people. One of my mentors, Dr. Christopher Kent, has said repeatedly, so many people have 20 years of experience, but really it's just 1 year of experience that they've done 20 times over. One of the things that we pride ourselves on is that every year we're doing another thing that we're going to add into our repertoire to help people, have success in their health, whether it's, be fit, eat right, think well, mindset, whether it's, other things that we do. I mean, it was about 5 years ago, we both took the TRT program with Jay Holder. And honestly, I didn't throw that into my existing practice because I wasn't ready yet, because it took a long time for me to get good enough at it that I felt that I could deliver as good of an adjustment with that interpretation and instrument as I can with a manual adjustment. Almost everybody that starts care in our practice, their first adjustment is going to be exclusively a TRT adjustment. Not everybody, but almost all. But sometimes even by the second or third adjustment, we may start doing some manual adjusting. We may do some different interpretation, and really because it's not one size fits all for everybody. And I think that so many people get locked into that's the only way to do it. And I'll be honest, I kind of graduated thinking that I had the only way to do it. But through all the things that I've done, whether it's Webster certifications or other types of things that we have implemented, it's the reason that so many people find this to be their home for health and wellness in our community.
So am I correct in saying that once you graduate, you're actually not done learning?
Everything I learned about chiropractic, I learned after chiropractic school. Is always kind of the go-to I have when people ask all the time, what did you learn? I'm like, I don't even know. I memorized a lot of things and regurgitated them on tests. I'm confident of that. But I wish I could go back now and sit into some of those neurology classes and, peripheral nervous system class again, because now I would be able to apply it, where back then I was just trying to get the information in my brain to be able to test properly.
Yeah,
and that's the fun part. We love traveling and doing conferences. We used to teach at conferences on different business principles and how we create great teams. Our team, I am willing to say, is absolutely second to none. I don't care what amazing team anybody else has. We have the best. And number one, it's because we're so particular, not just with our ideal client and who we pre-qualify as a good client for our office, but we are so careful with hiring. And that's what we expect to do when we're bringing in an associate. We don't just want a body to fill an application and take up space. We want the right person that's going to add the right dynamic. And we do that in every situation that we encounter.
So what are some of those characteristics that you see that you would like to see in an associate?
So many things, but you've got to find I can tell you usually within 10 minutes of meeting someone, if they're going to be a good employee, associate, even just somebody I want to be around. There's a feeling that I get. I'm a good read of people. Most new patients that come in the office, I'm probably about 90% of the time within just that first visit, I can go, they're going to be, a great fit here, or not our ideal client. We'll still welcome and love them and take care of them, but there's a good chance that they're not going to jive with some of the things in our office, because we do have, values-based decision-making and the team trainings we do on a weekly basis teach our team how to really put forth the energy that's going to attract those people to us, and those that don't have the right fit aren't going to feel like we're the right fit for them either. And that's okay, right? Because we can be really busy with all the people we really want to serve and let the other people find their home too. And when you can realize that you're not everybody with a spine, you absolutely do not want in your practice. You really want to have the ability to find that right fit, and to say to say, what am I going to say? Hard worker, shows up on time. It's all those things that everybody wants in a good associate. But what we're really looking for is somebody that wants to come and learn from us, because, as I said, I struggled when I started. I can tell you the day, month, and year of when somebody asked from stage, what percent is your business insurance versus cash? I said, about 50-50. When my brother and I went back, because I practiced with my brother for 12 years, when I went back and took a look at our numbers, we were over 80% insurance, and that was absolutely unacceptable to us. So through a series of about 18 months of really hard work, we flipped that to 20% insurance to 80% cash in my old practice. And I helped lots of doctors around the country do that. Dr. Staci and I together did that for dozens of offices around this country. And then when we opened this, we said, we're not going to mess with insurance at all. It's going to be all cash. So we've got to have somebody that's got the convictions of knowing that they have something that people want. We're the only profession that's here to detect, correct, and ideally prevent subluxations. And when you have the ability to convey that and explain that to community, and that's such to a point that they are willing to pass over their hard-earned dollar to you, you found success. And when we find people that have the ability to do that, we're going to help them succeed, whether it's here as an associate or learn from us and help them get started.
Absolutely. I think the other things too, like if there's somebody listening to this, you're like, is this a good opportunity for me? Number one, do you vibrate at a high level when it comes to chiropractic? Like, do you walk in the door exciting to see what chiropractic can do for your patients? That's huge. Being able to be confident, doesn't mean you're perfect. We're always learning. We're always honing in on our skill, our technique when we're adjusting and learning new things. Nobody's perfect, but come in with confidence that you have learned enough to help that person that's in front of you in that moment, and want to care enough about our people. We know our people. We know their kids' names, and we know which park they play at, and we know where they work and when they're vacationing. We know our people. So you also have to come in just with that true, I want to know the population. I want this to become a community. One of the things we talk about a lot is that Life Refined Chiropractic is here to create a community of people who want to live an exceptional life, that they're living as close to their 100% as possible. And so wanting to contribute to that big idea that how do we truly be this light in a crazy, crazy world right now? And how do we portray what's important about health through the lens of chiropractic?
Well, I'm excited. I mean, you guys are on fire, according to Facebook user.
Thanks, user.
Wonderful.
Yes, thanks, user.
Maybe it's a bot. We were worried we were going to talk about something inappropriate tonight.
No, well, it could be. You never can tell. Who is that? You, Zuckerberg? Are you looking at us? Maybe Zuckerberg needs a new job.
Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple of things that I thought was interesting, because you briefly went over that you have a pre-qualifying process for your patients, but that's really what job interviews are.
Absolutely.
Or coming to me, that there's a pre-qualifying process. If I'm the boss, I'm going to pre-qualify to see if you're the right fit for me. And the other side of it is, if I'm the applicant, I should be pre-qualifying as well to see if I'm a right fit. And so I don't know, can you talk a little bit about that pre-qualifying and maybe what it actually means with the patient? Because in chiropractic school, it's very rare that people do pre-qualify, because they got to get their numbers. So we're going to get in whoever we can get in.
The first thing that we've got is a doorman that really sets us apart from any other office I've ever spoken to, and I've talked to lots over the 20 years. Our front office manager, Sarah, who's been with us since day one, has the ability to get on the phone and sound so professional that people go, "You don't really work in that office, do you? They hired you." Like, yeah, they hired me. I am in the office every day. And it really does amaze people. And they're like, "Oh, I've never heard somebody speak so well and clear." And they just know that when Sarah's on the phone with them, that they are at somebody who truly has an interest in serving them, as well as has all their ducks in a row. And when they're going to get here, they're going to have a first-class experience. Secondly, we're not doing $29 Valpak specials or, Facebook ads or free this or that. We have a price point that's set that we don't budge on, because there's a base acceptable bottom. Because when you go below that number, you're going to start to attract people that aren't going to like what you have to say about lifelong care plans, right? We don't call them that, but certainly we just have a plan that there's just no end to. Now, that doesn't mean people can't leave. It just means that we expect that once you experience what we have to offer in this office, that you're going to want to be a part of it. So when Sarah's on the phone with them, lets them know that, hey, you're going to come in for a thorough exam. She explains all the things that we do in that and why that's different and important, and then gets into, and then you're going to have, a great adjustment. You're going to have a report that's going to go over these things with you and make sure that we are a good fit. Because honestly, some people do pre-qualify in through the exam. They get to the report and they go, "You know what? This is a little bit more than I expected." And honestly, about 50% of those that say that at that day 2, they come back at some point within a month or two, because they go to another office and they go, "Okay, we get it now. You are really different." And even just from the phone calls, if people don't like that they're going to have to spend $300 for their initial exam, they go, "Okay, let me call back." And we think we'll never hear from them again. And 3 days goes by. They go, "I called 4 other offices. I could tell they weren't a good fit. It's going to be worth the time and money."
So I was a good question. So my wife's here because she's in the kitchen here, and my wife and I almost got divorced putting a TV center together. So there's the thought, it's impossible for spouses to work together. So is it?
I am wonderful to work with, and I am wonderful to work for, aren't I, honey?
For? Thanks.
We have found, even before we worked in the same office, we have found that our skills and our strengths are very different. So people ask us that question quite frequently. The funny thing is we do drive separately to work most days, because one of us has to go home earlier than the other. So we have our time apart. But once we get to the office, if something lands on our desk, and we actually even share a desk in an office, we automatically know who's taking care of it. Like, there's no discussion. Did you do that? Did you get that done? It just automatically filters. Dr. Nate is amazing at training. So he runs all of our team trainings and all of our team meetings. I do really, really well with patient rapport, like getting people really comfortable with our office, loving who we are and loving what we do. So I take care of almost all of the new patients and all of the reports that I do. We have that front office manager, Sarah, who basically runs the show around here. And then we have one tech assistant. Her name is Megan, and she helps us with all of our neurological scans, getting people into the right examination rooms. We do open adjusting, but we have exam rooms for scans and x-rays and those types of things. And so it's the 4 of us on the adjusting floor, seeing a lot of people every single week. And we could only do that because that team training helps to make sure we're always refining our systems and our procedures. And then we refine my systems and procedures and how I'm taking care of new clients. Lately, how do we speed up that process? Because people are booking out for a new client appointment 2 and 3 weeks right now. And so I think it's all a matter of just always be training, always be communicating, have an excellent communication system. Something so simple as we use Google Chat for the 4 of us in the office during the course of the day. So if I need a message from here up to the front desk while somebody's still standing there talking to Sarah, that happens instantaneously. And it makes sure that everyone's on the same page, not just with who's in the office, but who missed an appointment today or what report needs to be done. And so that communication system is paramount and makes a really big difference in helping us be able to walk into the office and work together every day and still like each other when we get home at the end of it.
And we have similar values. I mean, when we've done personality testing with all of our employees, we know what drives them. We know why they want to be here. And we always make sure that it's our clients first, right? It's our practice members. We are here exclusively to serve them, right? Chiropractic and our practice members. And that's a responsibility we have. And anything that comes into this office that we're going to represent has to be in the patient's best interest, right? What's going to get them closer to their 100% function? So the fact that we have that core value and that driving principle really has us all on the same page, from start of the day to finish of the day. It's about them. It's not about us. And, while Dr. Staci and I have very different, personalities, it really helps deal with different types of clients, right? If somebody comes in and they're much more soft-spoken, and they're a little timid, sometimes I walk in and I scare the crap out of them, right? And we recognize that, and I go, you got to take that new client. Versus we've got, a fast-talking business guy who goes, how long, how much, let's go. I might be the guy that comes in, I'm going to shoot them straight, and they get it, and they feel that, right? Megan, much more soft, really great doing that, progress assessment. Tell me how you've been. We started with this. Where are we now? What else do we need to know? What else is on your health checklist? Sarah, hey, this is what this is when you're scheduled. This is when we're going to be in. Hey, you were a little late today. Is something going on? Is everything okay? Do we need to move your? She's really straightforward with that. So, Dr. Staci and I have been together, quite a while, and the personalities complement each other so well, especially in the office, that it makes it a lot of fun.
So with this opportunity that you're offering, is this a case of somebody's got to grab a job in a week, or is this something that might be open down the line, that type of thing? Does that make sense? Because some students might be watching, be like, gosh, I'm in first quarter. I'd love to work with these people. I don't have a chance.
Yeah. So I've had 5 different precepts or interns, depending on the school, come through my office. And all 5 of them landed amazing associateships, or a couple of them even just started their own straight after they left. And every time those docs would interview with somebody else, the main doc who was looking to hire would call me and go, why are you letting them go? What the heck are you doing? I said, I practice with my brother in like 1,500 square feet. We got 3 tables. We crank over here, but we don't have room for a third doc, right? It's a great opportunity to come in, train, and learn with us, but we had to let them go. We built this office with the focal focus that we're going to have docs in on a regular basis training with us. If they're great associates and they need to stay an associate, we're going to train with them, make sure that they're good with that, and we're going to hang on to them. And so we have the ability to work with several new docs at a single time, knowing that at least probably 1 out of 3 or 4 is going to turn into be a good entrepreneur, and they're going to want to go out and do their own thing. That's great. I support that. That's what I did. Dr. Staci, on the other hand, the day she graduated, signed the dotted line and bought an established clinic. So we've done both. And part of our giveaways today reflect that. The strengths that we've gained through that are really something that I think could be, a game changer for people. And when I think about what I would have given a year into practice to go, man, I wish had somebody, that I could ask these questions to, that could show me on a daily basis what I need to be doing to be better at this. Because, God, sucking at something you love to do so much is awful, right? And I loved chiropractic, and I'll brag on myself all day that I walked out of Palmer one of the best adjusters in my class. But man, that didn't mean anything if I'd had no business acumen, no ability to market myself, no ability to know what an ideal client would look like. That made it really hard.
Did you say free stuff?
Free stuff. So it's a no-brainer, easy giveaway to us, and something I think of be of great value. I've put together the 5 keys that you need to know before trying to open your own practice. It's the 5 biggest things that I wish I'd known before I opened my first office, and I can't tell you what I would have given to have that then. Dr. Staci put together her 5 things to avoid before buying a practice. Because man, oh man, she bought a busy practice, but she walked into it thinking that they were a lot more cash-based than they were what was the insurance percentage?
Well, it was 80, but that wasn't even a question I knew to ask.
Yeah,
Is
so.
Who's paying you? Is the insurance company paying you, or your patients paying you? So a lot of things I wish I would have known. I figured it out along the way, but man, if we could cut through some of that for a few students coming out who are ready to go and want to learn from our mistakes, then we can definitely share that information.
Our ultimate goal in this whole process is to fast track worthy chiropractors to success as fast as possible. Honestly, I wanted that when I graduated. I know a lot of you out there want that. It's not easy. It's hard work. It's hard work to work in an environment like this because it's fast paced and there's always something new coming up, and not a day goes by that something doesn't kind of throw you off track, that you got to know how to deal with it. That's where that weekly training has everybody ready, regardless of what comes up. And of course, we're surprised on a weekly basis. So guess what we train on the next week? Those things that caught us off guard last week. So if it happens again, we make sure we know exactly what to do. The biggest one that's the hardest one to avoid is somebody coming in, signing themselves in, getting on the table. I do my first check with them, and they go, "Oh, by the way, I was in a car accident last night." Oh, screeching brakes. We got 38 people on in this hour. Both docs are busy. We got a new patient and 2 progress assessments. So how do we handle this, right? So we've got systems and procedures in place to do exactly that, know just what to do. And regardless of what comes up, we probably had something similar before that we can help new docs go, wow, I wouldn't have seen that coming. I would have made a mess out of that, because I know I sure did plenty of times.
Yeah. How about free food?
So you
like free food?
Oh, I'm in.
Free food,
Yeah,
okay.
I'm totally. Yeah, I'm putting my resignation in tomorrow. I'm moving to Indiana.
Well, one of the things that we also wanted to offer just to the students who are on here today and who are going to be at Lyceum, I am planning on coming down to Lyceum. Dr. Nate's going to spend a weekend at home with our daughter for the first time by himself. He's perfectly capable. I just never leave. But I'm going to be coming down to Sherman Lyceum. And for any students who are really interested, seriously interested in doing either an internship with us or want to talk more about an associateship opportunity, send me an email. I'll give you my email address here at the end of this, and we'll share that. But send me an email. Let me know if you're going to be at Lyceum. And what I'll try to do is put together a dinner one of the nights where there's not another event happening, and get that information out to the students. So I'll host a dinner while we're there.
At the cafeteria?
Probably not.
Oh.
We'll have a good dinner somewhere.
I know a few places.
Perfect. I'll take your recommendations. Just to make sure that I have the chance to really speak with some of those students who might be interested. They're welcome to ask me any question. I'm always an open book. But just begin establishing those relationships, because even if you aren't ready to graduate yet, but you're thinking, man, in 6 months that would be great. Indianapolis is a great place to live. We live in the best part of Indianapolis, right off the reservoir. So we're in the community where our ideal clients live. If you want to ask me questions about that, or think that down the line this could be a great opportunity, I don't want to wait until you graduate to establish that relationship. I'd rather do that now.
Awesome. So how do they get the free stuff?
Send me an email. My email address is Dr. Staci, so DRSTACI at liferefined.com.
And if you want to know a little bit more about us, you can go to that website, liferefined.com. You can go to our YouTube page. We've done buku videos, whether they're educational or marketing videos. We are 100% completely transparent, because we really want you guys to understand that our true goal is your success. And the number one affirmation, the first affirmation I say every day before any of the other, is I have surrounded myself with individuals that call me to something greater. And I've had the opportunity through so many great relationships. I ran the Indiana Philosophy Group, EPOC, the epicenter of chiropractic, for 10 years. That was my baby from 2009 to 19. We had over, how many is that? 75 different speakers come in. I mean, you name it. If they were in chiropractic in 2009 and 19 and known, they were in Indiana and they were speaking for my group. And I have such a great team of people that I've met through that and relationships I've formed. I wish I would have known those people sooner. And I can't tell you how many local chiropractors are like, man, you introduced me to so-and-so, or I saw that guy. I got to see him again and he remembered me from that. Relationships are key. This relationship capital thing is real. And the more people that you can know in places of influence, the better off you are. And that's one of the things that we have in our wallet and we're ready to share, are some of those relationships with some amazing chiropractic players.
Well, and you mentioned, I was just sitting here thinking, because we mentioned Book Yourself Solid way ago, and Book Yourself Solid, the 3 things you got to do: direct outreach, network, and referrals. And so Sean Dill, one of those chiropractors in your wallet, brought us together because I was in town and you guys showed up and we just hung out. That was the first time we met a couple of years ago. And not that we chat a lot on Facebook, but we saw each other again at summer camp. And then you reached out and said, hey, this is what we want to do. So here we go. So my job to the students is I'm bringing them to you. You've brought me in. And so that's how this whole relationship thing works, students. It's the way that it goes. And I promise my students, I'm not going to bring anybody in that's not going to help them. And so for students, so I've heard several opportunities. If you want to, we call it PMOE, Practice Management Observation Experience. So they would do that their last 14th quarter. If you want to hang out with the Blumies, get them approved. I'm sure it'll be pretty easy. Go hang out with them for a quarter and see how they do things. B, you may want to be an associate trained with them. And then C, they got a crap ton of other knowledge that they can give that Dr. Staci's going to give you at Lyceum, talking about whatever. So for the students that are watching this now and then on the recorded version, there's not 2 better people that you could ask to give you information regarding what it means in a zillion different ways about what it means to be in business as a chiropractor. So I am super, super excited that we spoke tonight, and I can't wait to see what comes of it, because somebody's going to have a real heck of a good thing happen to them. And I can't wait to see who it is.
Find that person. We're excited.
And to go one step further, if you have absolutely no desire to live in Indiana, which why wouldn't you? I love the state, I truly do. If you go, you know what, I've got my heart set on South Carolina or California, wherever it is, you know what, we have created relationships through so many different ways with great doctors around this country. You know, come and talk to us, pick our brain and go, you know what, who do you know in Arkansas? You know what, I know some people. Tennessee, know them. Wherever you bring, we're going to be able to help you kind of sift through and find some of the really great docs out there that practice very similar to our style, and keep you away from some of those experiences that Dr. Dooley referred to in the beginning of those docs that want to fleece their associates. So we'll help you avoid that too.
Well, I am super excited. Dr. Staci, can't wait to see you. Dr. Nate, hope we get you down to South Carolina. And like they said, I'm from New Jersey, so we're known to say, I got a guy. I got a guy for everything. And in the chiropractic world, Dr. Staci and Dr. Nate, they got guys, they got ladies, they got everybody. So they know all the cool people. So best way to contact you would be email. You guys are on the Facebook, right?
Yep. We're on Facebook. Our real names. Life Refined Chiropractic is our business page, but that email address that you've got on the screen goes right to me. I check that all the time.
Perfect. So students, please get in touch with them and ask them questions. These are 2 of the good ones that will help you be successful, no doubt about it. So thank you for taking time out of your day to hang out. Can't wait again to see you in a couple of weeks.
Yep.
And I'm going to let you have the last word, as it were.
Dr. Nate always gets the last word.
I think I've said it all, right? And I remember graduating, and I can tell you March 1st, 2002, when I graduated, I walked out of there and really thought, I got this. I'm going to go door to door and meet people. I'm friendly. And you know what? It's a hell of a lot harder than that. And I don't want you to have to go through what I went through to find success. We've ultimately found it now. You know, glad it came at some point, but certainly I don't want anybody to have to wait 5 years to feel like, okay, I can finally, take a paycheck. You know, that just, it doesn't work. So especially in today's society.
We also want the future of the profession to look amazing.
Here.
We see a lot of people come in from other chiropractic offices not having the best experience. And the more chiropractors there are out there, providing the right type of care and the right type of compassion to the clients, no matter where you are in this country or in this world, the better chiropractic looks, which means the more people will get chiropractic care and will be serving an even bigger mission. And that's incredibly important in our world.
Yeah, I mean, we've got the green books in the office. We represent this profession how I believe it was meant to be represented, and we want more people representing chiropractic in our communities in those lines. And that's the bottom line. We've got to honor this amazing gift that we were given through the adjustment and represent it the way it deserves.
Well, I definitely said it all. So thank you again. Students, get in touch with the Bloomies. They will take really good care of you. And other than that, I hope you have an amazing Indiana evening. And I look forward to chatting with you next time.
See you soon.
Thank you, Dr. Dooley.
Bye.